The TicWatch Pro 5 is a flagship smartwatch packed with a punch. The first Wear OS 3.5 smartwatch on the market from Mobvoi is a huge upgrade over its predecessor, and a watch that will have made Samsung very nervous indeed. The TicWatch Pro 5 features full Google Wear OS integration, and with a tried and tested multi-day battery life, a super fast W5 Plus processor, a great OLED display, and a secondary display panel, as well as countless great smart features, the TicWatch Pro 5 starts to look like a real winner. The price is certainly up there at $350, but you are getting a ton of great features for the money. Wear OS 3.5 allows for greater integrated features like turn-by-turn directions in Google Maps and a full overhead map using GPS. Activating the Google Wallet makes it easy to sync your payments between your smartphone and the TicWatch, and of course, this all syncs perfectly across your devices. There is, however, one caveat: the TicWatch Pro 5 is currently not compatible with iOS devices, so if you own an iPhone, bad luck, but if you're on Android, your Google Life will work in harmony with the TicWatch and Wear OS. We'll get into the software later, but first I want to talk about 3 things that I feel make the TicWatch Pro 5 super competitive compared to its competition. That is a combination of display, the processor, and the battery life. I use an Apple Watch as my daily watch, but the TicWatch Pro 5 pretty much humiliated it when it came to battery life. And at the end of the first day, my Apple Watch was at 30%, whereas the TicWatch Pro 5 was at a massive 85%. Considering all the smart features that are constantly active on this watch, that's insane battery life. Mobvoi claims an 80-hour battery, but I would say you could get at least 3 to 4 days of usage out of the TicWatch, and that is way ahead of the competition. The other plus is the sheer speed and efficiency of the chip inside. The Snapdragon W5 Plus Gen 1, along with 2GB of RAM, ensures super smooth, fast and responsive performance whilst navigating the menus and selecting smart functions. It feels great to use, and if you're coming from an older TicWatch, this will feel like a massive generational leap. But the coolest hardware for me is the 1.43-inch dual system display panel, with one lower power display that has the vibe of a classic analog Casio watch. Then there's a full AMOLED display with a vibrant, rich and bright panel that you'll use when navigating the menus and using the smart features. By default, the lower power display will always be on and be your main screen for a quick glance at the watch. It will save you a ton of battery life throughout the day, but if you want, you can dive into the settings and change this so the AMOLED display is the one you see when you glance at your watch and the one you see when you're working out. However, you will have to sacrifice a lot of battery life. So I think one of the best features on this watch is the UPL screen. So when you're running along, the backlight will change color depending on what heart rate zone you're in. So if you're just tootling along, you know, pretty slow, it'll be in the blue, then it will build up to yellow. So you can instantly see how hard you're working if you need to push a little bit harder and then maybe get to that red zone. And you know it instantly, so it's better than looking down at the watch, trying to find the number and trying to work that out when you're running and it's bumpy. And it's just so nice, you know, just a quick glance. Very good idea, very clever, very well implemented. For workouts, the TicWatch Pro 5 has a plethora of health monitoring features for everyday tracking and workout modes. You have all the normal features you'll expect: heart rate monitoring, blood oxygen level, sleep tracking, fitness metrics, but there are some cool ways that these are presented on the TicWatch Pro 5, like measuring all 5 metrics at once with the push of a button. It takes around 90 seconds for the test to complete and give you a reading of your heart rate, blood oxygen, respiratory rate and stress level. And whilst this might be a gimmick for some, for others it could be vital when it comes to training and health. Whenever I'm testing a new smartwatch, I always compare its results to the Apple Watch, which, whether you like it or not, has extremely accurate readouts when it comes to health monitoring. The TicWatch Pro 5 basically matched the Apple Watch Series 7 perfectly in real time when it came to heart rate during workouts, my blood oxygen levels and other metrics. But I would say it was often a little slow in getting to the result in comparison. But if it's accuracy you're focused on, the TicWatch Pro 5 seems reliable and on point when calculating metrics. It was a little slow when it came to getting a lock onto GPS before workouts, and even though I was in an open area in the middle of a park, it gives you a warning suggesting you should wait for the GPS before starting your workout, and I wish it would just start the workout and attain the signal when it can, instead of feeling like you need to stand there staring at the screen. Other than that though, I thought the workout modes recorded everything with high accuracy, from the amount of kilometers covered to the average speed of your run, heartbeat and more, and you can find a much more detailed breakdown on the app, which unfortunately I don't think has the nicest UI I've ever seen. It's a little bit dated and kind of reminds me of a design from 10 years ago, but it does have all the relevant info from your workout and a breakdown of all the data that you can study to your heart's content. There are over 100 workout modes available, and a lot of the most popular workout modes come with auto detection like walking or running. There is also sleep tracking, which did have a few major misses when it came to my night's sleep. It completely missed me waking up in the middle of the night and struggling to get to sleep on a few occasions, but for the most part the analytics were close to that of my Apple Watch. There is a fair amount of customization available to the watch via the smartphone app, although some of this can be done on the watch itself. There are free watch face options from Mobvoi, and you can also purchase watch faces via the Google Play Store. If I'm honest, I'm not a big fan of the basic designs. I think they look very dated, kind of what I would have picked if I was an 11-year-old boy who was into racing cars and spaceships, but there are enough options overall to find something that you'll like. There are a ton of other customization features like rearranging the titles that you swipe across, and you can make individual customizations to each watch face. The watch comes in two colors. I have the sandstone, which I personally think accentuates the watch's design much better than the black version, which looks a little dull in comparison. But being a simple guy, I personally would have preferred the black as it's a little more subtle. Wearing the sandstone gives me Kim Kardashian vibes. Perhaps my masculinity is just very fragile. What isn't fragile is the build, which is solid. 7000 series aluminium paired with Corning Gorilla Glass anti-fingerprint cover on the front display. I have dropped this watch so many times whilst filming, and you really can't tell. There's not one scratch on the display or body, and believe me, there should be. It has the top 810H military standard certification, so it can withstand a variety of environmental stresses, including rain, sand, ice, shock, and vibration, and can withstand up to 5 atmospheres of pressure at around 50 meters, so you're good for any underwater adventures. It's also remarkably light at 44 grams, and even though I don't have the biggest of wrists out there, the watch still looks good and fits comfortably. On the right side, there is a rotating crown that you can push to open the main menu or go back home, as well as turn it to navigate the menus, as well as a physical side button which you can tap to see your recents and double tap to open the Google Wallet. The watch bands themselves are of good quality, no cheap plastic straps here. I've worn these for days on end and they are comfortable and still end up looking clean even if they end up in some less than sterile environments. They can easily be clicked out if you want to give them a wipe down or change them to some of Mobvoi's very reasonably priced leather straps for a bit more style on formal occasions. Though one thing I would say is that there is a lack of third-party options when it comes to smart bands, so if you're somebody that enjoys swapping bands regularly, then take a look online and see what's available first to see if you'll be satisfied. There is also a massive app store to choose from thanks to the Google Play Store, where you can find all the essentials like WhatsApp, Nike Run Club, and even Microsoft Word if you need to be on the job whilst skiing or running a triathlon. It comes with Messages by Google as the default messaging app. One thing the TicWatch Pro 5 does not have, however, is Google Assistant, which is something I think most people would expect to come on a watch running Google Wear OS, and it's a bit of a disappointment. You can, however, take phone phone calls and make voice recordings thanks to an inbuilt microphone, and you can use the watch's speaker for things like alarms and voice calls. Overall, the TicWatch Pro 5 is a great smartwatch if you're looking for a companion to go with your Android smartphone. The battery life is truly a massive standout feature, considering the amount of features, hardware and software that is constantly running in the background. It is a truly impressive feat to squeeze out this much juice on a single charge and easily win out against its closest rivals. And with the awesome dual display and the power and efficiency of the W5 Plus chip, the TicWatch Pro 5 makes a compelling case. Are there some features missing? Yes, it's not perfect. It would have been great if there was a cellular option, and the fact that there is no Google Assistant may annoy some, but it does come with Wear OS 3.5, a ton of Google software, backed up by a massive array of sensors and cool hardware. I'll put a link to check out the TicWatch Pro 5 below, and if you've made it to the end, then subscribing to the channel and hitting that like button would mean a lot to me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.